Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to the second free class for CMAT. Right. In the last class, we looked at a few questions as far as grammar is concerned. In the last class, I was trying to make you familiar with the types of questions you might encounter in CMAT. Right. Today, we'll take a look at the core grammar. How do you go about learning grammar? We'll take it up from the very start. We'll start with parts of speech, very basics of grammar, and then we'll take it forward. All right. Okay, so today's topic will be nouns and pronouns, the very basics of grammar. Now, when I say grammar, guys, what is the first thing that comes to mind? In fact, let me be very honest with you. Whenever you're going about solving a grammar question, what do? Do you take a look at the question and then you start thinking about the rules that you have learned for grammar? Or do you go with your gut feeling and you go like, ye sahi lag raha hai? You go like, this sounds right. I think most of us tend to do that. Okay, so that's something that we'll change because we'll be studying the rules of grammar. We'll be looking at things which we are convinced about that are correct but are not. Okay, so right, when I talk to you about grammar, what is the first thing that comes to mind? What are the words that pop up in your head? Let's see, you probably talk about noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, etc. What are these known as? All these together are known as parts of speech. Okay, so first I'll take you through parts of speech. When I talk about parts of speech, there are 8 parts of speech basically. And when I talk about a part of speech, you cannot just define that this word is a certain part of speech. You will have to take a look at the word, see what the function is, and then decide what part of speech that word is. Okay, so let's see. There are 8 parts of speech. They're listed in front of you on the board. You have nouns, pronouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. Let's look at their function now. Okay, first we have nouns. What are nouns? Nouns are basically names. Anything that you can identify is a noun. Alright, I'm using this. I call this a stylus. The moment I give it a name, stylus, it becomes a noun. I'm writing on this. I call it a board. The moment I give it a name, it becomes a noun. I'm sitting on something. I call it a chair. The moment I give it a name, it becomes a noun. So nouns are basically naming words. Mind you, I'll not get into the definition of these words because you don't need to know the definition. You need to know the correct usage. Okay. So, for example, anything that identifies a noun. You've played name, place, animal thing. All those are nouns. So, what do I have? Nouns. What do nouns do? Nouns are names. Alright, that's settled. What's next? Next we have pronouns. What is the function of pronouns? For example, if I say, this is a stylus, it helps me write. In this case, it is a pronoun. Why is it a pronoun? Because it is replacing the word stylus. And the word stylus was a noun. So pronouns function, they replace a noun. He, she, they, it, whose, whom, all these are pronouns. So pronouns function is replacing noun. Okay. Then we have adjectives. What is the function of adjectives? Adjectives are those words which tell you about the quality of a noun or a pronoun. This is a stylus. It is very smooth. So what is the quality of the stylus? It is smooth. The moment I say smooth, it is telling you about the quality of a noun or a pronoun. So an adjective will qualify a noun or a pronoun. Noun or pronoun. Okay. Then you have verbs. Now, verbs happen to be the most important part of speech in the English language. Why are they the most important? Because not a single word can be complete without the usage of a verb. Verbs ka function, what do they do? Well, most people think verbs are action words, which is correct. But mind you, it is only partially correct. Verbs are not only action words, verbs also define state of being. The verb will either show you action or it will show you a state of being. Action, for example, if I say, I am talking. What is the action word here? Talking. Talking becomes a verb. If I say, I am walking. In this case, what is the verb? Walking. It defines an action. This becomes a verb. But if I say, I am tall. Now, there is no action word in this sentence. But as I said, no sentence can be complete without a verb in it. What is the action? What is the verb here? When I say I am tall, am becomes a verb. So there are two types of verbs. You have a primary verb and you have a helping verb. Primary verb will denote action. Helping verb will denote state of being. Primary verbs will be walking, talking, sitting, etc. Helping verbs will be is, am, are, has, have, had, so on and so forth. In a nutshell, helping verbs are B family. What is B family? B family comprises of is, am, are, was, were, being, been. All these words are variants of the verb be. Apart from this, you have modals. Modals are words like may, might, will, shall, could, can. All these are helping verbs. What do verbs do apart from this is another story. We'll keep this for another class. This is just the introduction. So what do verbs do? Action or state of being. Yes? Okay. Next we have adverbs. What do adverbs do, you ask? Now, adverbs have three functions. Let's say, he is talking. In this sentence, what is the talking? Talking becomes a verb. Now, if I say he is talking loudly, can I say loudly is telling you something about the verb talking? If I ask you the question, how is he talking? He's talking loudly. So, loudly is modifying talking. So, in a nutshell, loudly is modifying a verb. A word which modifies a verb is known as an adverb. So, this adverb this is one function. Let's see. He is a loudspeaker. Now, I don't mean a loudspeaker, okay, but I'm just saying he is a speaker who's loud. Okay. Now when I say he is a loudspeaker, speaker becomes a noun. If I ask you what kind of speaker, you will say loudspeaker. So noun's quality is being told by loud. Something which tells you the quality of a noun or a pronoun is an adjective. So I can safely say loud is an adjective in this case, right? But if I say he is very loud, so can I answer this question? He is a speaker. What kind of speaker? Loudspeaker. How loud? You will say very loud. So I can say that very is telling us something about loud. Very is telling us something about the adjective. This also makes it an adverb. So an adverb qualifies a verb, another adjective. But that's not all. This sentence is similar to the first sentence. And from the first sentence, we've established that loudly is what? It's an adverb. Alright. Now, if I were to ask a question, how loudly? Can I say very loudly? Yes, I can. So, in a way, I'm saying this very modifies an adverb. So, very also becomes an adverb. Right? So, an adverb qualifies verb, adjective, or another adverb. That's how it functions. Right? Next, you have prepositions. So there's this curious case of prepositions. Generally, a lot of people tell me, what are prepositions? Prepositions are those words which tell us about the position. For example, in, at, on, upon, under, so on and so forth. But that's not all. If I say, Ram is fond of Sita, there is a preposition here as well. It is of, but it does not tell you anything about the position. Right? So let's learn what prepositions are today. Again, as I said, not in detail, but just the very basics. Guys, if I were to break down the word preposition, what are the two parts that I'll find? Correct. I'll find pre and I'll find position. Right? So if I talk about preposition, it is preposition. Now please listen carefully. Preposition, preposition, preposition. A word which is placed pre-position, positioned before, a word which is placed before a noun or a pronoun, and it shows the relationship of the noun or a pronoun with any other part of speech. To simplify this, I've written a sentence. The cow is standing on the hill. Alright, what is the preposition here? You will understand clearly. The preposition is on. Now when I told you, preposition is placed before a noun or a pronoun, it shows the relationship between the noun and pronoun to any other part of speech. Right? This preposition is placed before what noun? It is placed before the noun hill, on the hill, right? Preposition placed before a noun or a pronoun, and this is a verb. Standing on the hill, placed before a noun or pronoun, shows the relationship with any other part of speech. Another example. He is fond of her. Preposition, clearly of. Is it placed before a noun or a pronoun? Yes, it is placed before a pronoun. Fond, what part of speech is fond? Fond is an adjective. In this case, it is showing you the relationship between a pronoun and an adjective. That's how a preposition works. So guys, relates noun or pronoun to any other POS. What do I mean by POS? POS is part of speech. It relates noun or pronoun to any other part of speech. Right? Next we have conjunctions. Easy. The second part of the word has junction. What is a junction? Junction is something which joins. Conjunctions are joining words. They can join two phrases, they can join two clauses, they can join two words, so on and so forth. More about conjunction in detail. For now, the functionality of the conjunction is joining words. Simple. After this, we have interjections. What are interjections? Guys, interjections is basically any sudden emotion. It can be happiness, it can be ecstasy, it can be sadness, it can be excitement, sorrow, anything sudden. Wow is an interjection. Oh, also an interjection. One thing about an interjection is always placed, it is always followed by an exclamation mark. Right? So interjections are sudden emotions. Okay. Now, we have these. We have nouns. Let's go over these things again. Okay. First is noun, function, naming word. Second is pronoun, function, replacing noun. Third is adjective, function, quality of a noun or a pronoun. Fourth is verb, function, action or state of being. Fifth is adverb, talks about a verb, another adjective or another adverb. Third is preposition, relationship between a noun or a pronoun to any other part of speech. Conjunctions are joining words. Interjections are sudden emotions. Alright, clear? Right. So guys, so far we've learned that there are 8 parts of speech, and I'm sure you'll agree with me that any given word in a sentence has to fall under these 8 parts of speech. It cannot be anything else but these 8 parts of speech. Yes? Yes. So there are only 8 parts of speech, and every word can be categorized under these 8 parts of speech. Now what I'm going to do is give you a small test and take 5 minutes of your time. I'll give you a sentence. Alright? What you have to do is take a look at the sentence and identify each word as what part of speech it is. Alright? For example, if I say, I love cricket. So in this sentence, first word, I is a pronoun, love is a verb, cricket is a noun. Right? This is how you identify each word in that particular sentence as what part of speech it is. Not only do you have to tell us, tell me what the word is, you also have to give me the rationale behind it. If it's an adverb, then it must be modifying a verb, an adjective or another adverb. If it's an adjective, it must be modifying a noun or a pronoun, so on and so forth. Ready for this? Cool. Let's go. This is a sentence. I want you to take a good look at it. Don't rush in. Take your time and tell me which word is what part of speech. Let's go. All right, let's see. Alas, this is easy. There's an exclamation mark. So, alas will be an interjection. What is interjection? Number 8. What is the? Nobody's told me what the is. Most of you have answered correctly, but you haven't answered completely. The question is, what about the? Okay, man is a noun. Song is also a noun. And daughter is a noun. Fair. Sang is a verb. What is verb? Fourth. Confusion with again. Old is an adjective because it tells us something about the man, and the man is a noun. Likewise, how is the song? Fast and melodious. So fast is also an adjective and melodious is also an adjective. What does and do? And joins fast and melodious. So this becomes a conjunction. Now let's see. Very quickly. Guys, if I ask you a question, what happened quickly? Man happened quickly, sang happened quickly, song happened quickly. I can say the man sang quickly, right? Yes? The man sang quickly. Sang is a verb. How did he sing? Quickly. So quickly becomes an adverb because it modifies a verb. What is adverb? Adverb is 5. Please understand, quickly is an adverb because it modifies a verb, sang. Very is also an adverb. Why? Because it modifies the adverb quickly. We've just established quickly is an adverb. So very also becomes an adverb because this modifies quickly. With me? Okay. What about for? I think for most of you did answer correctly. 6th preposition. What about his? Most of you would say his is a pronoun because it replaces the man. His becomes a pronoun. Okay, 2. Granted, his becomes a pronoun. But his is one more part of speech apart from pronoun. What is it? Is it telling you something about the daughter? Yes? Whose daughter? His daughter. So his is not only a pronoun, it is also an adjective. That's what I meant when I started off the class, that you cannot just look at a word and define what part of speech it is. You have to take a look at what function it serves. Over here, it is serving the function of a pronoun as well as an adjective. That's why this is both. One word can be an adjective and a pronoun. It can be other parts of speech as well. More about that later. Now, a lot of you said the is an article, a is an article. Granted, it is an article. But before I gave you the sentence, guys, I had clarified with you that any word in any given sentence has to fall under these 8 parts of speech. It is an article, granted. But what about these 8? Out of these 8, what is the and what is a or what is an? Think. Not very difficult. Let's look at the sentence. If I ask you, the is being used for what? Can I say the old? Can I say the man? Can I say the sang? Likewise, is being used for what? Can I say a fast? Can I say a melodious? Or can I say a song? That's a very good answer, Kanika. So guys, here I'm talking about the man who is old. Alright? The man who is old. So I'm using the for the man. And man is a noun. Anything which tells us about the noun is an adjective. So this is an adjective. Likewise, is being used for a song. A song which is fast and melodious. So is also an adjective. So guys, for all practical purposes, wherever you see an article being used, you will always see it being followed by a noun. So for all practical purposes, all articles are adjectives. That's why we do not count them as an extra part of speech. I hope this is clear. I'm assuming this is clear. And I will move forward now. So we've studied basically what are parts of speech, right? Today we'll deal with two parts of speech, that's it, nouns and pronouns, okay? First two parts of speech. Now, we've already established what are nouns. Nouns are basically anything you name, alright? Let's see, nouns. Okay, first up, let's try and identify the nouns in the sentence. First noun, Delhi. Yes. It's the name of a city. Is the capital. Capital is also a noun. Capital is generally the most important city. Is known as the capital. India, again a noun, the name of a country. Next we have all my students. People who learn from someone are known as students, a name given to them. Interested in higher education, knowing the ways of the world, give it a name, we call it education. So education is also a noun. Third sentence, internet, the name of a phenomena. Then you have future. Future is the name given to a time which hasn't come yet. The future is also a noun. And we have education. We've already established this is a noun. Now there are classifications of nouns, okay? There are two types of classifications of noun. I'll go into the classification of noun. Please understand there are two different types of classification. They are not related to each other. They are treated separately. First type of classification. Guys, this is very common, very basic. Something that we were taught in school. For example, if I talk about institute, it's a common noun. If I talk about iQuanta, it's a proper noun. If I talk about teacher, it's a common noun. If I talk about nihil, it's a proper noun. That's how it works, right? So city is a common noun. Proper noun is Delhi. Then you have collective noun. Collective nouns is when things, are in a collection. For example, a team of players, an army of ants, a school of fish, a flock of sheep. Now out here, school, flock, army, all these are nouns. All these are collective nouns. Right? A congress of baboons, a parliament of owls. So I hope this is clear. You have a collective noun, right? Abstract nouns are those nouns which you cannot touch. They're known as intangible. Things you can only feel. You can see them. You cannot touch them. All right. For example, love, hate, warmth. All these are abstract nouns. Then you have material noun. This is taught in some schools. It is not taught in some schools. It's not rocket science. It's really simple. Material nouns are things. Material nouns are those nouns out of which things are made. For example, if I say this shirt is made of cotton, there are two nouns here. First, shirt, which is a common noun. Second, cotton, which is a material noun. It's really that simple. This is one type of classification, mind you, one type of classification. There is another type of classification which is separate from these. Okay, countable and uncountable. What's the difference between countable and uncountable? I say countable we can count, uncountable we cannot count. It's not that simple. It's about how you quantify them. So countable things are those things which you can count, granted. There are other things which are not quantified through counting. They are quantified by weight or measurement. Those are known as uncountable things. For example, students, books. Can you count one student? Yes. Can you count multiple students? Yes. Can you count one book? You can count it. Can you count multiple books? Yes, you can do that. Uncountable things are things which you can either weigh or measure. या तो आप उनको नाप सकते हैं या आप उनको तोल सकते हैं, गिन नहीं सकते. Example, milk. You cannot count milk. You can weigh, you can measure milk. Rice. You cannot count rice. You can count, you cannot count rice. You can weigh rice. Some of you might say rice. Okay. Rice granules or grains of rice can be counted. But when you go to buy rice, what do you say? You say half a kilo of rice, 5 kgs of rice. You ask it in a weight, not in counts, right? Quickly, let's take a look at these three things. Ice, paper, star. I want answers. What do you think? Ice is countable or uncountable? Guys, ice countable, uncountable? Answer quickly. Let's have fun, okay? The more we interact, the more fun we'll have. I don't like to keep my classes boring, and I cannot make them interactive unless you participate. Well, I'm glad that most of you answered this correctly. When you go and buy ice, what do you say? You buy it in weight or you buy it in cubes? You buy it by weight. So guys, ice per se is uncountable. Blocks of ice or cubes of ice are countable, but not ice itself. You cannot count ice, you can weigh ice. You can count cubes of ice, you can count blocks of ice, right? Similarly, let's talk about paper. What do you have to say about paper? Countable or uncountable? Paper is countable or uncountable? Hanji? Come on guys, answer. Think about it again, think about it. Paper countable or uncountable? I'm not sure if this happens now or not. So there used to be this concept, there still is a concept of this guy called Kabadi, right? He comes to collect scrap from your house. Now, back in the day, we used to read the newspaper. When we used to sell the newspaper, did we sell it by counting it or did we sell it by weighing it? Mind you, I've asked you what about paper? Paper countable or uncountable? So guys, we don't count paper. We weigh paper. Okay? If you see how paper is made, it comes out in a sheet like a cloth. It comes out in a sheet. Okay? You cannot count paper, you can count pages or you can count sheets. Paper you cannot. I hope you're getting this. You cannot count paper, you can count pages. You can count sheets of paper, but not paper. I hope this is clear. See, that's what I said. I did not talk about pages. I spoke about paper. You can count pages. Yes, you can count pages. Paper you cannot count. I'm assuming you've understood this now. Now the best part. Let's talk about star. Tell me whether star is countable or uncountable. Yes, we're talking about star here, and I'm expecting you to tell me whether star is countable or uncountable. Uncountable. Most of you are saying uncountable, some are saying countable. क्या माज रहा है? Kashish says uncountable, definitely. Wow. And what about the rest? All right. Let me ask you a few simple questions, right? And you'll get your answer yourself. If I ask you how many stars in the constellation Saptarishi, also known as the Great Bear or the Great Dipper, how many stars are there? There are 7 stars. How did you tell me if they're uncountable? Okay. Come to think of it. There's this song which is always played in every party, wherever there is Punjabi music being played. The song goes like Tare Gin Gin. Tare Gin Gin. Then there's another song by One Republic. It's called We've Been Counting Stars. We don't weigh stars or measure stars. We've been counting stars. Right? Then you must have seen Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. There's this very cute Khalsa kid in the movie. What does he always keep doing? He's counting stars. Now, the catch here is, the thing with stars is you will never be able to finish counting them because they are so massive in number, right? But if I were to ask you, will you weigh them, measure them or count them? Your answer would be count. So stars are countless. That's one aspect. But as far as an entity is concerned, are they countable or uncountable? Guys, they are clearly uncountable. Sorry, they're clearly countable. If I were to ask you how many stars in our galaxy, what's a galaxy? Milky Way, right? How many stars in a galaxy? It would be a huge astronomical number, maybe some billion, trillion, something like that. but it will still be a number. It will not be liters or kgs or something like that. So clearly, we only count stars. We do not weigh them, we count them. They are countable in number. Shreya, we will not finish counting them. They're not infinite. We haven't been able to finish counting them. Again, my point is we cannot finish counting them. I agree with it. But if we have to quantify them, will we count them, weigh them, or measure them? The answer still has to be count. That's what I said. They are countless. But if I talk about countable or uncountable, they are countable. So ice, uncountable. Paper, uncountable. Star, countable. Let's simplify this further. Okay. What if I told you only countables can have plurals, uncountables cannot have plurals? Why? Because only countable can have plurals. Like student, singular, plural, students. Book, singular, plural, books. Milk, uncountable. Plural. Rice, plural. There is no plural. Ice, plural. No, there is no plural. Paper, you might say, sir, we say papers, but that's not a plural of papers. When somebody says, show me your papers, they're asking you for your identification. Paper does not have a plural per se. But what about star? Do we have a plural? Yes, we have a plural. There you get your answer. I hope the difference between countable and uncountable is clear. Hair uncountable, strands of hair countable. I hope this is clear. If it's clear, give me a yes. We can move forward then. I'm waiting for your approval to move forward. Cool, great. So that's it for nouns. Now let's talk about pronouns. Function, replacing a noun. Before we go on with pronouns, I would like to tell you the most common types of pronouns are personal pronouns. Personal pronouns are those pronouns which replace a person. He, she, I, you, etc. Madhav, what this is a very relative question. No point repeating it over and over again. See, you are the one who has to study. I can tell you, there are people who start from scratch now and will crack TISS. Are you one of them? It's for you to decide. Okay, pronoun chart. Let's see how this is made. So guys, this is something you need to remember, but I'll tell you the rationale behind it. Let's look at this. So there are three persons in the English language: first person, second person, third person. Right? First person I, second person you, third person he, she, they. Yes, yes, yes. Madhav, did you get your answer? I gave you an answer. And I don't understand this behavior. What's the point of writing this again and again and again and again? I told you, there are people who will crack TISS starting from now. They will put in that much effort. If you put in that much effort, you will crack it. If you don't, you won't. Nobody can tell you whether you'll crack it or not. It is upon you. We can guide you. That's it. Yes, Shreya, tell me. Right. If I talk about pronouns, let me give you a small trick to figure out the pronouns. As I said, pronouns are three people. First person I, second person you, third person he, she, they. Okay. If I wrote a sentence, dash did this. Right. Now in this sentence, whatever will fit into this blank will be the subject of the sentence. Right. So this will be the subject of the sentence. Subject did this. Now, for a first person, what can I say? Can I say I did this? Can I say me did this? Or can I say my did this? Clearly, I can say I did this. For plural, I can say we did this. So there I have I did this, we did this. Second person, you did this. Yes, I have you did this. Third person, he did this. Yes. She did this. They did this. Leave this for the time being. Okay. Next, if I say it was done by dash object. What can I say? It was done by I, it was done by my, it was done by me. Clearly, it was done by me. Second, it was done by us. Oh, sorry, not second, plural. So these are both first persons. This is second person and this is third person. Then you have it was done by you, yes. It was done by him or her, yes. It was done by them is also true. Now let's talk about possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns, over here I'll tell you about the possession. What is possessive? Possessive is talking about belonging, right? So in this case I can say this is my class, this is our class, this is a misprint, this should be, this is your class, this is his class, this is her class, and this is their class. We'll talk about reflexive pronouns later on. Okay. So this is how the pronoun chart works for the possessive pronouns. Now I'll take you through a few, let's say, rules of pronouns. I want you to pay good attention to them because these are things we generally get wrong. Okay, we don't realize them, but we go wrong with them. First rule. A pronoun following the be family of a verb will always be in the subjective case. What is the be family of a verb? Let me just tell you. Be family includes of is, am, are, was, were, being, and been. Of course, be is also there. So what do I have? A pronoun following the be family of a verb will always be in the subjective case. Let's see. Now, in this sentence, what do you think is the correct answer? We were discussing, no, earlier. We go with our gut feeling, we go with what we think is correct. Now, according to your gut feeling, what do you think is correct? Just your gut feeling. Good answer, Ankit. Very good answer. Generally, what we say is, we tend to say it is me who is responsible for your education, but the correct answer is, it is I who is responsible. Why? Because there is the be family. And what have I said? Pronoun following the be family will be in the subjective case. Out of these two, which one is subjective? Let's see. These two, I is subjective. Hence, it is I who is responsible for this. Most of you have answered me. That's the beauty of pronouns. Most of you have answered me. While the definition is right there on the board for you, you still got it wrong. So the next time someone asks you a question, who's there? Instead of saying, it's me, which will be wrong, you will say, it's I, which will actually be correct. Why? Because it stands for it is, and is happens to be in the be family of the verb. Now, you will say, sir, we've been saying this all our life. I agree. We've been saying it incorrectly. One more thing, as far as spoken English is concerned, it is acceptable. And that is why I'm bringing this to your notice. That's the first thing I said in the last class as well, and today's class as well. There are a lot of things which I'll be telling you, which you are so convinced of that they're right, but they will eventually be wrong. You want to score well? This is the way to go forward. It's I. It is I who is responsible for your education. Clear? Guys, I know it's a little shocking, but I need you to tell me if you've understood this or not so that I can move forward. Yes? Okay, good. Rule 2. In case of a comparison, now, mind you, I've taken out only those sets of rules which which most of us go wrong with. This is another one of those cases. In case of a comparison or a sense of comparison, so if there's a comparison or a sense of comparison, a subject will always be compared to another subject. So a subject will be compared to a subject only, nothing else. Yes? That's how it works. Now, there's an example. Is there a comparison? Yes, there is a comparison. Taller. Is there a subject? Yes, there is a subject. A subject will be compared to another subject. Between him and he, what is the subject pronoun? Now, to the human mind or to us, what sounds correct would probably be he. I am taller than him. We've always said I am taller than him, I am shorter than him, I am stronger than him. or her for that matter. But now I'm telling you he. Again, existential crisis हो जाएगा ऐसे तो, right? But the logic is right there. Comparison, sense of comparison, subject compared to another subject. That's how you compare these two. Let me simplify this for you. Okay. Consider this as the sentence. इसको हटा दो. Now what do you think is the correct answer? Now this sounds about right. I am taller than he is. Right? But the thing is, if there is one helping verb in a sentence, you don't need another one. So am is present already, is not required. Let's take another example. What do you have to say, guys? Can you dance as well as her or she? What's correct? Is there a comparison? Yes, there is a comparison as well as. Comparison will be subject to another subject. Out of these two, which is the subject pronoun? This is the subject pronoun. To simplify it further, there is one helping verb. What if I gave you? Now this sounds right? Yes, I think now you've got the gist of it. So please remember this. In case of a comparison or a sense of comparison, a subject will only be compared to another subject, right? Moving on. This is a very simple rule. A pronoun following a verb, preposition or conjunction will always be in the objective case. The teacher is fond of, I have a preposition. What should be the case? Objective. Out of these, what is the objective case? Clearly, him. समझ में आ रहा है? Are you able to follow what I'm saying? Next rule. A pronoun preceding a gerund. What is a gerund? Gerund is verb plus ing. The ing form of a verb is known as a gerund. How does it work? So a gerund can be used as a noun as well as a verb. You remember in the first sentence that I showed you, there I told you his is a pronoun as well as an adjective. Likewise, let's take an example, okay? Ramesh is swimming. In this sentence, swimming is showing an action, so swimming becomes a verb. In the second sentence, if I say swimming is a good exercise, in this case, swimming is the name of an exercise and hence it's a noun. More about gerunds later when we study verbs. For now, just remember, verb plus ing is a gerund, okay? Now the sentence says a pronoun preceding. Preceding matlab pehle aana, something which comes before. Preceding a gerund will always be in the possessive case. You have a sentence in front of you. Can you put this rule into effect and tell me what the answer is? Anyone? His. Very good. Now, we've grown up listening to this. I don't like him staring at me, right? But we've been hearing it incorrect. The correct answer has to be I don't like his staring at me. Again, all I'm trying to do is break down the stereotypes, okay? These are things which most of us would go with like common knowledge, him staring at me, so on and so forth. But you have to remember, the moment you see a gerund, if there's a pronoun before it, you are probably being tested for it itself. Make sure it is always a possessive case pronoun. Nitika, I'm not kidding you. This is not the first time I'm listening to such a comment in a pronouns class. So I've taken offline classes as well. This is a very common sentence. My whole life has been a lie. It's just been. See, what happens is, how does a kid learn language? Nobody teaches him language, him or her. The kid picks up from whatever he or she is listening to. So is the case with us. People around us are so confidently using pronouns incorrectly. Also those people who are very well spoken, that we tend to believe, okay, this is the right grammar. It's not our fault, but yeah, it's a revelation. Okay, moving on. Order of pronouns. So guys, simple hai. It's based on courteousness, it's based on politeness, order of pronouns. So when I say order of pronouns, it will go something like this. There are three people, right? First person, second person and third person. Okay? First person, second person, third person. So let's say Nitika was saying her whole life has been a lie. Let's consider this, that we are taking a class, Nitika, and I asked Nitika, let's not take a class today. Let's go have a coffee or maybe watch a movie or something. Nitika says, all right. And then Nitika says, let me call my friend also. Okay. So I advise her to call a friend also. For the sake of this example, let's consider that I'm a kind human being. I'm a cute, courteous human being. Assume to kar hi sakte hain. There's no harm in assuming. Okay. So there are three people. I, Nitika, and her friend. Whom have I invited? I have invited Nitika. So when we reach the coffee shop, whom do I ask to go in first? The one I've invited, Nitika, right? Now as a mark of courtesy, who goes in next? Should I go in next or should I ask her friend to go in next? Clearly her friend. So then first person, Nitika is you, right? You is second person goes in first, then the third person goes in and then the first person. So this is the order of pronoun. It's based on courtesy. The order is second person, third person, and first person. Second, third, first. Okay, in case of a positive sentence. Now the order remains the same. If in case there is no second person present, the order will be third first. If there is no third person present, the order will be second first. If there is no first person present, the order will be second, third. I hope this is clear. Yes. Now, in case of a negative sentence, so all of us were bunking the class. Now we get caught bunking the class, and I go like, oh, now we are done for. So who takes the blame first? As a courtesy, I take the blame first. Then who takes the blame? The one I invited, the second person. And then who takes the blame? The third person. So that's how it works. In case of a negative sentence, the order changes to first, second, third. And just like in the case of positive sentence, the negative sentence also, if there is no first person present, the order will be second, third. If no second person present, the order will be first, third. If there is no third person present, the order will be first, second. Examples right here. I, you and I are in the wrong and will be punished, which makes it a negative sentence. Hence, the order changes to first, second, and third. I hope this is clear. Can I get a yes if it's clear? And then we move on. Am I audible? Yes? Okay, good. When two singular nouns joined by and denote the same person or thing, the pronoun used for them must be singular in number. Let me give you a very basic example, right? Consider this sentence. I have a black and white TV. I have a black and white TV. Second sentence. I have a black and a white TV. Two sentences. First, I have a black and white TV. Second, I have a black and a white TV. In the first case, clearly, how many TVs do I have? Only one TV. In the second case, I have two TVs, a black TV and a white TV. So this is what an article does to the sentence. If you see, when two singular nouns joined by and denote the same person or thing, the pronoun used for them must be singular in number. Right? It says singular in number. Now, when I take a look at the sentence, the singer and actor should be careful of his public image. Some might say, so there are two people, there is a singer and there is an actor. No, but this is where the catch lies. Had there been two people, I would have said the singer and the actor should be careful of his public image. Now, the moment I say the singer and the actor, I'm clarifying that there are two people. But if I say the singer and actor, there is only one person who is the singer as well as an actor. Right? That's a very simple rule. Now, when two singular nouns are joined by and are preceded by each and every, the pronoun must be singular and number. When I say every student, I'm talking about each and every student, right? When I talk about every teacher, I'm talking about each and every teacher. That's why the pronoun used is singular. Really simple. The pronouns yours, hers and theirs are written without an apostrophe. Obviously, guys, this is something which you are aware of. Because if I say something like this, it actually translates to which makes no sense at all. Hence, it is always, that's what the example says. Yours, we don't put an apostrophe, here, or so on and so forth. Example is right there in front of you, yours sincerely and yours sincerely. Again, there's a note, it's means it is and not belongs to it. You have an example here. It's a mad dog which bites its tail. So when I say it apostrophe s, I mean to say it is. This means, right? It is a mad dog which bites its tail. This is a possessive pronoun that shows belonging. Yeah. Next, one can be used to talk about people in general, and the pronoun that follows one should be one's. One should do his duty. So I started off with the pronoun one and I'm continuing on with his. This is not acceptable. I started off with one, I have to continue with one. Okay? So one should do one's duty. One should do his duty will be incorrect. Moving on. Who is used in the subjective case? Whom is used in the objective case? So whenever who or whom, whenever who is referring to the subject, it is who. If it is referring to the object, it is whom. Let's take an example. Santa is the student who got an award. Who refers to whom? Student. Who's the student? Sarita. Sorry, Sarita is the student who got an award. Since this refers to the subject, I'm using who because it is subjective. Second sentence. They are the thieves whom the police caught. Who did the action here? The police did the action. The police caught the thieves, right? So whom becomes the, because this refers to the thieves and the police is the subject. This becomes whom because it refers to the objective case. Whose is simple. Whose is used in the possessive case. This is the student whose certificates are lost. I think this is self-explanatory. This is important, guys. Which versus that. Now, as a rule, when I say which will always talk about additional information and that will always talk about specific information or essential information. Example, the town's only concert which we had tickets for is cancelled. Now, if you take a look, if I put the underlined part and I take it away, I can say the town's only concert is cancelled. What is the defining part of this concert? Guys, this is the only concert, so it is defined already. But in the second part, if I say, if I remove the underlined part and I say the town's concert is cancelled, if I simply say the town's concert is cancelled, you don't know what I'm talking about. You don't know which concert I'm talking about, right? In the first case, there is the only concert. So whatever you tell about the concert is additional information. But in the second case, what defines the concert? The one that we had tickets for. That's how which and that differ from one another, from each other, sorry. Which is used for additional information, that is used for defining information. The simple answer to this would be, you can remove this part, the sentence will still make sense, but this part is essential or defining information for the sentence. Yeah? Next we have each other versus one another. It's a very simple rule. If there are two things being spoken of, we use each other. If there are more than two things being spoken of, we use one another. Actually, this is the same rule between and among. When we use between, it is for two people. For more than two people, it is among. That's what it says. Each other, two persons. These two students love each other. One another, more than two. 3, 4, 20, no matter what. Those four countries always disagree with one another because it's 4, it's more than 2, we use one another. Last rule, verbs like enjoy, avail, pride, resign, apply, acquit, assert, absent are usually followed by a reflexive pronoun. What's a reflexive pronoun, you ask? Okay. So when I say I burnt myself, I refers to myself and myself also refers to me. So when the object and the subject refer to the same thing, it is known as a reflexive pronoun. Myself, herself, himself, all these will be reflexive pronouns. The boy absented. Now, absented, whom did the boy absent? The boy absented himself from the class. We enjoyed. Enjoyed what? Or who enjoyed? We enjoyed ourselves at the party. Don't worry too much about this rule, guys. When we study verbs, when we study transitive verbs and intransitive verbs, this will become clearer to you. Okay, that's it for nouns and pronouns. Any questions that you have, anything that you haven't understood, please feel free to ask me. I hope you enjoyed the class and you learned something from the class. As I said, this is the only week wherein we're giving free classes. If you want to continue with us, we're launching iQuanta's batch for all these exams. Please make sure you enroll in them. Any questions? Good session. Thank you, Ankit. Thank you. Right then, I've already told you, iQuanta was running, free classes for this week. We'll be starting off with the paid sessions starting off next week. We have a lot of course material for you. We have, we also have GK classes for you, mind you. We have a lot of GK material for you as well. So if you want to avail of it, please get in touch with us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your compliments. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.